Hi, kindergartners. Today for EL, everything will be on this video as LearnZillion is still not working. So today, I'm just going to go over with you the character comparison anchor chart that you should have done by now. So you should have what Oliver, Charlie, and Lulu did at the beginning of the story. Something that I found at the beginning of the story that they did was Oliver found a tree that was too small, found a tree that was too big, and he falls out of the tree and breaks the branch. And then I saw Charlie and Lulu found trees that they could play in and hide in. So I would say that those are different because they weren't able to do the same thing at the beginning of um, the story. For the middle, I wrote down that Oliver felt sad and stops playing. And then Charlie and Lulu, I said they were sad because they felt sad for Oliver that he didn't have a tree. So I knew they were both sad up in the middle of the story. So I put same here. The other part of the middle of the story that I wrote about was that Oliver falls asleep. And while Oliver was falling asleep, Charlie and Lulu build a tree house so that Oliver can play with them too. So they were not doing the same thing during this part of the middle of the book, so you would write different. At the end of the story, I saw Oliver use his imagination to play with the trees, so he was kind of playing with the pirates. I also saw Charlie and Lulu playing in the treehouse as well and using their imaginations to play with Oliver. So they were doing the same thing at the end of the book. These are just things that I saw that stood out to me throughout the book. So you might have something different than I do, or you might have some of the same things. But make sure this is done first before we move on to our assessment. Today we are going to do our part 1 of the assessment. So it looks like this. We are only doing the same side today. So I'm going to read Oliver's Tree one more time for you. And then after I'm done reading, I'm going to give you guys time to fill out the same character comparison chart. And then tomorrow on Friday, you guys will do the different side. Okay? So I'm going to read Oliver's Tree one more time to refresh our memory on something we could write down and draw that is the same between all the characters. So Oliver's Tree. Once there were 3 friends, Lulu, Oliver, Charlie. They loved to play outside. Ready or not, here I come, said Oliver. Oliver spotted Lulu. He jumped and jumped, but he couldn't reach her. That's not fair, said Oliver. Trees are out of bounds. But trees are the best hiding spot, cried Lulu. Not all trees are the same, Charlie said. We'll find a tree you can play in, too. So they found another tree. Look, said Lulu. This one's low to the ground so you can climb it. But it was too small. Oliver couldn't fit. So they found another tree. Try this one, said Charlie. The branches are bigger. But it was too tall. Oliver still couldn't reach his friends. So they found one more tree. Perfect, Lulu said. We can help you up. And it was just right until crash. It's hopeless, cried Oliver. Elephants just don't belong in trees. Oliver walked until he was too tired to take another step. When Lulu and Charlie found him, Oliver was fast asleep. Poor Oliver, said Charlie. He's so sad. I wish we could help him. I have a plan, said Lulu. Lulu searched high, and Charlie searched low. They gathered sticks and moss and pawfuls of leaves. Then they rolled and patted and tinkered and nudged until everything was perfect. Surprise! They shouted when Oliver woke up. Where am I? Asked Oliver. In a tree, said Charlie. It's not too small and not too tall, Lulu said. It's a tree house, perfect for all of us. Hooray! Trumpeted Oliver. This is the best tree in the world. The end. All right. So now your job is to get out your Unit 1 assessment and make sure you are on the same page. It should say same right here where my purple box is. You need to pick a part in the book where Oliver, Lulu, and Charlie were all doing the same thing as characters in the story. You need to draw a detailed picture and you need to write words and sentences below it telling you what they are doing in the book. I am really looking forward to seeing these. If I think you can do better work than what you put into your assessment, I'm going to ask you to redo it. Okay? So again, just the same side. All right, see you tomorrow.